And thank you to EA. They're not here anymore, but thank you to EA. That was awesome. They came by during an epic boss fight and gifted a bunch of codes to people. That's nice. So thank you. So those who are understanding and nice to EA, thank you. You gotta understand, if they're doing something nice for us, we should be nice for them. We shouldn't be dicks. Yes, EA has published many bad games. We agree that Mass Effect Andromeda was bad. We agree that Anthem was bad. That doesn't mean now we shit on everything that EA's ever done, because they're in here to be nice. So be nice to them, okay?
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Dspnews, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Let's go. Brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing today? We are here with one of our favorites. Yes. Snort Burnell. DsP. I said the Google Stadia would fail and announcing a fundraiser at the end of the year. Now, for any of you guys who are keeping up, Memology 101, I think, has a video going over that. I don't know. I'm not even sure if we're really ready yet for what the Stadia is trying to bring to us. That's neither here nor there. In time, it'll get better. In time, it'll be what people want and what they're expecting. So it is what it is. I'm told that there's something about the video game awards in this. I personally don't care. I don't watch the video game awards anymore. I don't watch the MTV Movie Award, Video Music Awards anymore. I've never really watched the Oscars. Really, it's whatever. It's just shit that's trending on Twitter. So I don't know why that's even a big conversation point for Phil. Maybe because he just doesn't have shit to talk about. And then announcing a fundraiser at the end of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know what this is. This is the end of the year charity begathon, if you will, for taxes, for tax money. Now, granted, it's probably not actually going to go to taxes because Mommy Burnell is going to handle that. But this has been the scheme for the last 2 years, since 2017. So I don't know why any of us would have any type of inkling that anything would change. So that's really all that's about. We're going to carve it up. We're going to see what this is about, because that's what we do. As we get closer to the year, we are getting closer here at GTG Network and Productions and how we want the show to shape up. It's probably not going to, the new format's probably not going to roll out until next year. But I'm hoping to incorporate a lot of the things that people have asked for. Certainly a lot of the things that I was thinking about myself. It's going to be kind of rocky in the beginning because it always is, but I'm hoping that it all comes together, as well as I'd like for 2020 to be where I can actually interview some people yet again. So hopefully we can get that squared away so I don't completely screw the pooch on that one. And, it should be fun, I hope. I certainly hope it will not, because one never knows how much time they're going to have, so I'd like to try to at least have a good time with it. So even if it all falls apart, I get taken down, whatever the case may be. I had a good time doing it, and I didn't beg and plead for anything. I took my proverbial YouTube bullet to the head like a man, and enough said. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, because there's a lot of stuff going on about YouTube's policies or whatever. But it's not as bad as people think. I guess it depends on what you're doing, I suppose. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get to the broadcast at hand, because that's what you guys are here for. And hopefully we have a good time with it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Yes! A GTG Network and Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet. But before we do that, let's talk about SnortBucks Coffee for a minute. With the holiday season literally being kind of cascaded into here, You know what I'm saying? SnortBucks coffee it's my choice. It's my go-to. And we have a new flavor, by the way. It's pumpkin spice vanilla bean. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. It's so on and so forth. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, the rich, creamy taste of vanilla bean, of really like vanilla bean ice cream. If you guys like vanilla bean, I'm more of a French vanilla type person, but I'll mess with vanilla bean every once in a while, and whatnot, with just a sprinkle of pumpkin spice at the top of it. All of that in a smooth, rich, and creamy coffee or even cappuccino. It's amazing. I don't know if we could do something like that for a tea. Maybe for a milk tea. You know what? I bet you we could do that for a milk tea. I'm gonna have to go down to my local boba shop and see if we can see if they can do that. Because if they can do that, we can definitely do that. But anyway, SnortBucks. Best part of waking up is with SnortBucks in your cup. It's beautiful. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. I haven't had boba in a while. I need to go out there and grab some. Yeah.
Now we'll play the game!
Warning, what you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
Jasper, don't eat that freaking wire, man.
Oh boy, Jasper being a troll again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, DsP. I said the Google Stadia would fail, announcing the fundraiser at the end of the year. This is from November 21st of 2019. Here we go. Oh, shit. We got Jasper. And as you guys know, Jasper is a member of the GTG Network and Productions family here. So we got him working deep cover and whatnot. Apparently he's doing pretty well. Told him to watch out for the spray bottle, though. Told him to treat it like boxing. Stick and move. Stick and move. It's all right, though. I'm going to send him to the DIA. We have a great gym facility over there. They're going to get him right. Agent Proper never fails. Never fails. Here we go.
Oh my god. If you bite that again, I'm coming over there. Jasper. Jasper. That's it. That's it. Now he gets it. You don't eat my wires. You don't chew wires. Stop this right now. You're out of here. You're out of here, Buster. That's what you get for chewing wires.
Now, first thing that comes out of that is no different, I guess, from any cat owner for the most part. But one, Jasper don't give a fuck. Good thing, too. Like I said, we call him 21 Jasper around those mean streets of Connecticut. So it is what it is. Secondly, and not that I mean to start a rumor about this or anything, but when Catherine's not home and Jasper gets out of line, I wonder how do I word this? I am curious on how Phil deals with Jasper when Catherine's not there. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not accusing him of abusing Jasper in any way or the mistreatment of Jasper outside of already declawing him. But it does make one wonder. Because you know Phil has a very short fucking temper, right? So, especially after that whole Xbox fiasco, I would assume Phil is Phil's still big mad about that. So just something to think about moving forward.
I had to throw him out of the office. What a pain in the ass.
Any pet that I get would never be allowed in my office ever. Unless I'm highly supervising them. So the cat comes in for 5 minutes to be on stream or whatever. Okay, you guys can see the cat on stream and it hangs out. Then it's get the fuck out. Because I can't babysit a cat while I'm trying to play a game or record a stream, you know.
I don't mind Jasper being in the office, but what it is when I start talking to you guys, He literally will not chew a damn thing in the office until I start talking to you guys. And then when I do, he gets jealous. He's like, oh, Phil's talking to someone else but me. He's not giving me all the attention, so let me do something to get his attention. So he'll start chewing on a wire, you know. So I had to toss him out of the office. It is what it is. Even if Death Stranding today isn't, like, super riveting, I think it'll still be a great stream. You guys have been a really great audience for Death Stranding so far. Even though we've had segments... Whoa, the camera's on the whole time! Even though we've had segments. Yes, I'm definitely interested in playing Shenmue 3. I want to play Shenmue 3, but not going to do it until we wrap up at least a couple of the playthroughs that I'm doing right now. Two news things.
I mean, in truth, though, like I said, why don't he just put Shenmue on the back burner till, like, I don't know, beginning of next year or something? Because he doesn't even have the audience for it. And if he does, and at least not in the long term, which is just going to be a waste of a game. I don't know. That's just my opinion, of course.
I would like to talk about. The first is, everyone's asking me about my opinions on these Game Award nominations. I don't care. I've told you guys for the past 5+ years, the Game Awards are not official. They are paid for by media companies and fanboys.
Oh my god, this shocks me.
That's not an exaggeration. The people who actually pay for the Game Awards and nominate the games and vote on the games, you know, this is not something that's like viewer-based or anything like that. Okay? It's basically a ginormous paid advertisement event. It means absolutely nothing. It's not official in any capacity. So, oh, did you hear this game won Game of
So then, now, ladies and gentlemen, we basically have someone who hates shills, who wants to be a shill, shitting on a shill event, based to basically sum all that up. First off, if it doesn't mean anything because it's all paid advertisement, right? Then why should anybody take anything that you have to say seriously if you were doing a sponsored stream or if you were endorsing a product? And I mean, I'm speaking directly to Phil when I say this, if that is the case. Because you know how Phil is. Phil doesn't want corporate money. It's dirty, it's dishonest, it's disgraceful. It's disgraceful for all of gaming. But then he sits there and turns around and cries and says that, oh, the detractors are what kept him from all that money and earning all those opportunities, and he wouldn't have to beg as much if he had that corporate money. Even though for years he was given those opportunities and he turned them all down because he thought he was better than them. Well, he wanted to make it seem like he was better than those corporations. And he wanted to be the Joe Smo average guy. He was just like you guys. When he goes and buys a game, whether the game is good, bad, or whatever, he's going to feel the pinch either which way, just like you guys would. The thing is that he wasn't like any of you. Because even when he got fired from the helicopter company, Mommy and Daddy was still supporting him. On top of that, he was, at least according to the information that's been sent to me, that's going to be on the Fight Club channel. Apparently, he was in a very, very bad car accident where he was left for dead. So the settlement that came off of that shit was quite a bit of money. Like I said, I will delve more into that on the Fight Club channel. Good looking out to the person who sent me that info. So we're going to look into that a little more. And then, when he gets into the YouTube money, he's making 6 figures. So how in any way, shape, or form could he ever relate to anything, to being anything like any of you? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Especially when he's only doing 5-hour YouTube days and he was getting drunk and basically getting fat the rest of the time. How could he be like any of you? There's something to think about. But we're going to shit on a show where, whether you take it seriously or not, you're supposed to be there for the entertainment value of it. Sorry. You're supposed to be there for the entertainment value. Why is he taking this shit to heart? Literally making enemies out of nobody for no reason.
year? No, it didn't. No, the Game Awards, paid advertisement event may have named a game of the year. Doesn't mean that it's actually game of the year. It means nothing. It's complete fluff. But people, for some reason, get hyped, much like they think this is like the Oscars, right? No. And even then, the Oscars don't mean shit either, So I pay no attention to the Game Awards. I don't care about the Game Awards. I'm not going to watch the Game Awards. No one gives a shit, and no one should give a shit. If you do, you're buying the needless hype, and, that's why I don't pay attention to that crap. Alright, so I don't care about the Game Awards. Asking me about it is a waste of everybody's time. Alright, now, the other news is Google Stadia. Oh boy, what a surprise on this one. So, We heard for how long that Google is working on a live streaming gaming service where you don't need to own a console at all. All you need to do is to have, a Google Stadia streaming service that's going to live stream these games over the internet without any hardware at all. You can play it on your phone, you can play it on your PC, you can play it on whatever you want, and you don't need to own a console. No more expensive hardware needed to play the best AAA games out there. I said from the get-go, the moment this was announced, I said this is not going to work. If we all lived in Japan, it would probably work, because in Japan the internet is state-funded, meaning the government owns the...
Actually, it's funny that Snort Burnell said that. It's amazing how Phil goes out of his way to shit on Google products. You know, like YouTube, for example. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, he shitted on that before YouTube, in air quotes, betrayed him, but whatever. Maybe not. I think he was still sucking YouTube's dick at that time. Whatever. But, you know what I mean? It's funny how he likes to shit on things that are Google related. Secondly, didn't Phil fall for some gimmick that was similar to the Stadia years ago? I can't remember what it was called. It was one something. I can't remember. But you know what I'm talking about, right? It was like where it was almost like digital games of some type of capacity. And I remember he bought that too. And you're able to like rent games digitally or something along those lines temporarily, whatever the case may be. And that didn't really go anywhere either. And like I said, Phil invested some money into that. Like the problem with Phil at the end of all of this is innovation. Phil is someone who doesn't like change. He is very much a dinosaur. He is very much a caveman when it comes to the modern era. Hence the reason why he says it the way he does. When in actuality, every time he says it, it sounds like marinara to me. But, I think that's what he's thinking. But anyway, he doesn't like change. And he is very resistant of change. Hence the reason why he doesn't like anything and he hates everything, essentially. That's why I play Street Fighter. The only version of Street Fighter that I play is from like 20 plus years ago and has been shit at almost every other one. When you go back and look at Phil's Street Fighter 4, right? I used to think, because I watched Tevin's marathon of it, that Phil's all right. He's not great, but he's good. I would say I used to think he was good. Now I think he was just all right, to be honest. He wasn't that great. Yet again, he wasn't that good, really. He's just sitting there applying super turbo tactics to 4. And it allowed him to get away with a lot of it. The thing is with 5 is it's just not he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at almost every fighting game he plays, he treats it like Super Turbo in some way, shape, or form. Within, obviously, the game's mechanics, but essentially he's just playing everything like Super Turbo. And that's the reason why he fails quite a bit. But the point being is that he's not someone who's open-minded. And so he doesn't deal with change well. And because of that, he's resistant to everything. One day, ladies and gentlemen, this is how gaming is going to go. At least a portion of gaming is going to go. Is it going to kill off the console market? No, I don't think so. Because there'll be, at the end of the day, you'll always have people who are going to want that hard copy. They're going to want to have a console directly in front of them. They're going to want that feel, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like people who buy hard copies of games now, like myself. You always want to have that. You know what I'm saying? But it will be a part of the market one day. Phil doesn't have to participate in it, but we all damn sure know he's going to continue to shit on it until that shit gets real popular, right? And it's proven its worth to some extent, and then he's going to jump on the bandwagon 5 or 6 years too late. And that's if he's even around at that time. If you don't like what you're seeing, fair enough, you don't like what you're seeing. To sit there and completely bash it just so you can get some lethargic feeling out of it is kind of pathetic. But let's hear him out and let's see what he has to say.
Internet. And therefore the government has mandates on the speed requirements and the quality of the internet in the country. So if you live in Japan in any of the major, regions, your internet is absolutely outstanding. I actually talked about this many years ago when people were saying, Phil, I don't understand. Why is it that games like Street Fighter 4 play so badly online? And I said, well, the truth of the matter is because the games were designed to be played in Japan, not in America. In Japan, the internet's outstanding, and people have actually said that playing fighting games online in Japan, it's the same as sitting next to a person on an arcade cabinet. There's no lag at all, because their internet is so outstanding. But in the United States, we don't have consistent internet. What we have is a bunch of companies competing to provide internet service to you. You've got your Cablevision, you've got your Comcast, you've got your Time Warner, and what was the other one? There's like 4 major ones, and then there's all the minor, like all the cell phone companies that also provide internet service. Okay? So, in America, we don't have consistent internet. Everyone could have a different connection. If you haven't noticed, anytime I play a game online, the entire situation's hit or miss. Sometimes I play online and there's no lag at all. Sometimes I play online and there's moderate lag. Sometimes I play online and there's monstrous lag. And that's all because our internet is flaky as shit. It's the direct reason why. We don't have, a consistent, dedicated internet service. So, because of that, you're always going to have
So
issues.
you think if the government ran the internet in the United States, I should say, you think that the internet would be equivalent to Japan or any of the countries that are any of the countries around Asia and so on and so forth? You really think that if our government controlled the internet, we would be able to compete with that? Or more importantly, it would be the best internet possible? Like, you really, you should be glad that, well, I guess it depends on where you live, because some people don't really have a choice of the internet provider that they have. And even if the government took over, that wouldn't change anything, because there's just going to be limitations depending on the area, which is obvious. Hence the reason why you can't get every major service in everybody's area. Like, for example, not everybody has Google Fiber. Google Fiber is amazing, but not everybody has it. You know what I mean? For example, most people don't even have fiber optics or can't get access to it. Maybe another decade, maybe another decade, maybe a little longer. Hopefully that finally becomes the industry standard, but not everybody's getting into that. I remember, for example, when I first heard about fiber optic, or at least a YouTuber speak on it, I should say, was Chris Move. Sorry about that. I'm very reference heavy. Chris Move, when he where Smooth is from, I think he was going to school in Miami at the time. Yeah, I think he was going to school in Miami at the time. He was talking about getting fiber optic, not necessarily for YouTube, just for in general, but I remember that a couple years ago he was talking about getting fiber optic. And he was like and he said he had spoken to some other people and he thought it was the way to go. And eventually he got it, and it was amazing. He went through a lot of hoops to get it, but eventually he got it. So, yet again, that is what that is. But the government wouldn't exactly... You're talking about the government having to go in and kind of redoing the infrastructure a little bit. Like, it doesn't happen the way he thinks it does. It wouldn't, or at least it wouldn't happen even as quickly as he thinks it would. Yes, people are going to have inconsistent internet, or we're not all going to have the same internet. That is what it is. That's just kind of just how that works. You know what I'm saying? We're in a market where the demand is, where we don't want that. We want the best service possible, and those who are willing to pay for it will get it. At the same time, though, too, within our market, the internet is getting better by the year. Some people feel that it's getting better by the months. Having the government have control over that doesn't make it better. It really don't. And this is coming from an idiot and meaning Phil, because he is one of the only idiots here at the moment, until one of his fanboys step into this video, or step onto this broadcast, for the most part, is that this is coming from an idiot who don't vote, right? Phil don't vote. I don't even know if he's registered to vote, but he damn sure does not vote. And he don't pay, and he's not even paying his taxes. Someone else is paying his taxes. So how serious am I supposed to take him on anything when he can't even do two of the fundamental things that he should be doing? One is a right, not a, you know what I'm saying? Being able to vote is a right. You know what I'm saying? It's not a privilege. It's not something you can just cast off. If you have the right to do so, then do it. Use it. If not, you're not going to change anything. Phil asks for all these different demands or has all these different demands and wants all these different changes, not just apparently for the government to take over certain interests in the private sector, but also he wants taxes to be lowered. He wants all kinds of stuff, but yet he's not willing to vote to do it, to have any of that changed. So how serious yet again are we supposed to take him? Anyway, just my opinion, of course. DSP News.
With latency. It's basically, think of it this way. Just think of it this way. You have a water pipe, okay? And that water pipe is all one kind of pipe. It's streamlined, it's smooth, it's solid, and so your water flow is very, very strong. That's Japan's internet. In America, what we have is a bunch of companies all telling you that their pipe is the best. So one's a copper pipe, one's a PVC pipe, one is a, I don't know, aluminum pipe, 10, 20 different kinds of pipes, and they're all held together by fucking tape and adhesive and stick and fucking band-aids and shit. Someone has to put a rope on it, and they're all barely holding together. They do hold together. So the water does get from point A to point B, but by the time it gets out to the under end, it's very inconsistent. It's trickling out the end, it then all of a sudden explodes, super strong flow. It's basically what it is. That's the internet in America. It's a bunch of people competing.
Now here's the thing too. This is coming from someone who pays what, $200 and something a month for business internet? And in truth, ladies and gentlemen, because Memology has talked about this before, because Memology used to be his field. Phil's internet is bad because he has a signal issue, if I remember correctly, in his home, which is going to require technicians to come out there and actually fix it. It's probably about a half a day process, maybe even less, if he has really good technicians. This idiot right here won't let them come in to do so because, I got to work and it's going to affect my business. What about your days off? Well, we want to go out and do fun stuff, so I shouldn't have to be stuck here at home. So he has an amplifier. I think Lightside Bill had talked about this, where he has like an amplifier at the house to basically try to. It's literally putting a band-aid on a gash, if you will, but it's something along those scenarios. So if Phil took an additional day off a week, right, and actually had them come in and go ahead and do some rewiring and rework his internet, his business internet, maybe even his home internet too, because he has 2 lines, would probably be immaculate. Is it going to be perfect? No. No one's going to have perfect internet. Even in Japan, they don't have perfect internet. But whatever. It could be immaculate. But he won't do it because the guy's stupid. But now, so obviously he's talking about himself because that's the only thing he cares about. So we're going to take his internet issue that could easily be fixed. It could have been fixed last year. Could have been fixed the year before that, because I think his problem started in like 2017. Won't do it because, I got to work and I don't have time to take off to have them come and do that. And then he doesn't want to clean his room or any of that shit either, because he's so mature, right? He won't have professionals come in and fix it, so he would rather run on, if I had to guess, half-step internet, but pay the full price for full internet, because he's too lazy and too stupid to get his internet issues worked out. So he looks at it as a solution as, the whole infrastructure needs to be rechanged from the ground up. Give it to the government. Oh boy.
Different kinds of product, and yeah, it all connects, but it's not consistent and it's not smooth, right?
Basically, here's a whiny baby.
So now, with this being the case, and us knowing this, right, from experience, 11 years I've been playing games on the internet, and I've seen this firsthand. How in the holy hell did Google think they were going to make a live streaming service where they were going to stream the game over the internet without you needing any hardware whatsoever, and that this was going to be a viable service? I mean, the moment they announced this, I said, this is insanely stupid. These guys just don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's obvious, again, this is what Google does. They get these crazy...
Well, how viable is your console service? How viable is gaming in general when you have to have a 12, 13, 15, 20 gig update day one, or patch day one, and then coinciding updates every couple of months? How smooth is that, dumbass? How consistent is that? You see what I'm saying? Like, you see how that essentially works? Nothing is perfect. Nothing. If we would go ahead and put more emphasis on the fact that we want finished games and we're tired of the bullshit, guess what? We would stop pre-ordering games. It's one way of kind of forcing their hand. But I think sadly we're just kind of in the day and age where everything is going to have to get quick fix or hot fixes. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it's going to be. I think personally, nothing runs smooth. Nothing works well. When was the last time any of you guys have been on the highway and not had a traffic jam of some way, shape, or form? Some people more than others, depending on what part of the country you're in. Nothing is smooth. And nothing is super duper consistent or just perfect. It's just irrational. But how is this idiot going to give you any of that type of advice, right? Or give you or convey any of those experiences to you when he only leaves his house once a week? And though he should have a better understanding of the internet, he don't, because he don't look up nothing. He don't go out of his way to read anything. Unless it's on Twitter. And even then, he doesn't get the full story. I don't know. Just my opinion.
Sky-high ideas with no real-world implementation. Remember Google Glass? Oh, yeah, that's what everyone wants to do. We want to have a giant set of glasses over our face with a heads-up display. Like, we don't have enough shit distracting us in real life. Now we need things popping up in front of our fucking eyes as we walk around. You know. This is what they do. These crazy unfinished...
I mean, eventually it's going to get there, though. Google Glass for sure will eventually get there. It's just, like I said, you got to have a vision first. Then you add the practicality to that later. 1, you come up with the vision. 2, can this be done? 3, can it be streamlined? And then 3, can it be streamlined? That's essentially kind of how that works. Whatever.
Weirdo ideas. And then they try to implement them and sell them before they're even ready. And that's what Google Stadia is. If we had great internet, it probably would be amazing. But guess what? It's not. We don't have that. And so, you know, how did you think this would work? So it's hilarious because all the early reviews came out for Google Stadia. And the reviews are like a fucking laugh riot. You watch some guys trying to play the game in his office, and he presses spacebar on his computer, and nothing happens. Then all of a sudden the guy jumps late. And then as he continuously presses spacebar, the jumps become more and more staggered to the point where the game's completely uncontrollable and unplayable.
Doesn't he cry about latency and lag in games now, even when he's not playing online? Oh!
And people reported it's not only just on PC, but on their phones as well. Like, you try to play these games on anything, they're all monstrously delayed. And I guess, basically what the report is this is a great idea. The graphics, by the way, apparently looked pretty good. Very few people complained about the graphical fidelity of the games. What they did complain about was the delay in controls, the latency. So, this sounds like a great idea for 10 years down the line, when our internet technology may improve and ends up being much better, but for something today, it's not needed, nor does anyone ask for it. The other thing is, and this was a good point that I hadn't even thought of. So some people were like, the real reason this will fail is because even if it worked, who wants it? Because now you get no console exclusives, right? Google Stadia isn't going to get God of War right at launch. It's not going to get Death Stranding right at launch, you see? Instead, the console exclusives are going to get stuck to the consoles, and... Console
exclusives are gimmicks anyway, and eventually publishers are going to come to the realization that if you want real money, you have to make it accessible to everybody. So the concept of a console exclusive is stupid. Like Street Fighter V, because Capcom was in a bad spot, they went with it for the PSN. But other than that, they would have hit every console if they could. There's no crazy benefits to it being console exclusive. To be honest, that's more of that whole fucking console race propaganda. Dude, Last of Us would have, the original one I should say, would have fucking been amazing, I think, on Xbox as well. Not to take anything away from PSN respectfully, but it would have been amazing on Xbox. And it probably would have been amazing on whatever Nintendo console that there would have been. The concept of console exclusives are going to eventually be a thing of the past. Eventually. So if that's your argument that, oh, who's going to really want this because everybody's going to want console exclusive, people are going to want what's consistent, what works, and what works fast. And being tied to a console is all a console exclusive is. And so what would you rather do? Be stuck to 2 pieces of plastic just so you can play the exclusives, or play this thing here that allows you to play all of it at a much cheaper price point? Just saying. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you were someone who was business savvy looking down the line, you know what I'm saying, looking looking years ahead. That's essentially what you're looking for. What he's doing is looking at everything from like a 2010 standpoint.
Google Stadia will be like the ultimate third.
Well, really not even like an early 2000 standpoint, really. Like last console generation. Like PS3 and then Xbox 360.
Game venue, but you'll never get, you know, good exclusive games on the Stadia. And that's what they're saying is, if you're really going to go with Stadia, you need a reason to. If they had an amazing exclusive game just available on Google Stadia, gamers would probably go in droves to try to play it. But what is their incentive, right? Right now, there's zero.
Not necessarily, because even if it was exclusive to the Stadia, more than likely PC would get it. And you find that more and more gamers are willing to wait on games than to just rush out and buy it like drones. That's just kind of what the sequence of events are. Especially since more and more gamers are starting to realize that what's the word I'm looking for? The infrastructure that is built up around games around gaming, I should say, doesn't actually respect the gamers. And gamers are starting to kind of come to that conclusion. They're starting to realize that. Like, these people don't respect us. Game writers are a pretty good example of that. I mean, people complain about that all the time, but it's for a reason. At least I think. Game writers are a perfect example. Most game writers kind of have a sense of disdain for gamers. And on top of that, most people who are game writers are only doing it so they can build a name. Well, as they should. To build up a name and so they can move on to something else. They look at it as a stepping stone, let alone it's something that they're actually passionate about. Now, that doesn't apply to all game writers. But you're finding more often than not, that's what that shit's starting to look like. So, something to take in mind. Or keep in mind.
Incentive. You know, already we're hearing, okay, launch title for the next Xbox is going to be Halo Infinite. And of course, everyone is leaning towards the new PlayStation. Like, what will be the exclusive game? Now, we already heard that The Last of Us is coming out, at some point. We don't know exactly when. Everyone's excited for Sony exclusives all the time, right? But what do you need the Stadia for? To play games you can already have, So that's the thing. Like, that's what the way that they were touting it was.
Isn't this coming from the same idiot who buys remasters of games that he already owns? I'm just throwing it out there.
The only person who would want a Google Stadia is, number one, a person who doesn't own a console. Number two, a person who can't afford a console. Number three, a person who's the only gamer in the house, doesn't need to share that service. Because keep in mind, this is all over the internet. So if you have more than one gamer in the house who wants to play games at once, impossible. The internet, the internet already is laggy enough. Now imagine two people trying to do this at once. It's impossible.
Is that why Cat's not allowed to stream and not allowed to make YouTube videos? I'm just asking. It's amazing how in that household we got business internet that would be able to support both of them, guaranteed. And then we have home internet. Then we have a home internet line also, which more than likely could support both of them, because why wouldn't it? And whatnot. And his spouse is not allowed to stream or make YouTube videos. Yeah, I said it that way. Not allowed to stream or make YouTube videos. Just something to think about.
Basically, like, the clientele for this service is so narrow where it would be viable that it doesn't even make sense that it exists. Like it's not worth a price tag at all. Even being free, it's a hard sell. So,
hilarious, because it's exactly what I fucking said. The moment this was announced, I said this will never fucking work. Remember, I'm all about myself. Oh, the stream's all about me. It's all about me. I'm constantly masturbating all around my streaming equipment, just so you guys know.
This was attempted many years ago. It was called the Ouya. Anyone remember the Ouya that I had, that I messed around with? Anyone remember? Yeah.
The Ouya. That's what it was called. My bad. I didn't remember. But he bought into that gimmick.
Bad that was? How games were unplayable? No, excuse me, not the Ouya. The OnLive. I'm sorry, I completely screwed up. Not the Ouya, the OnLive. Where OnLive was a console that wasn't a console. It was just a small little streaming device that you would hook up to your TV and they would try to stream games. And it never worked. You remember that, right? It never worked at all. it just lagged constantly. I couldn't even play a single game on it. Every game I attempted to play on the OnLive lagged up, and I never finished a game because the service was shit. And here we are years later, and it's the same thing. It's like Google didn't know that OnLive existed. Like, Google did no research at all to figure out that someone had already attempted to do what they were doing and didn't know that it doesn't work. Like, it's at least with OnLive. At least with OnLive, you could say at least it was a good idea, and it just didn't work out. Google had a case of people doing this already and it not working, and they ignored it and thought that they could still make it work because they're stupid. Like, I don't know what else to say. But anyway, I'm obviously now...
It's stupid to try to innovate on something that's already out there. It's stupid to try. Alright. But yeah, online, Ouya, whatever.
I'm going on at length about this, which I shouldn't be. Yeah. Essentially, the Google Stadia is a huge failure. Almost every single reviewer said it didn't work. There were very few, probably out of all the people who got the advanced units, I think like 5 people said it actually worked for them, and everyone else was like, yeah, it just lagged to shit and we couldn't play it. So, you know, not surprising. I wasn't getting it, certainly I wasn't getting it anyway. So, you know, thank God we didn't waste our time on that. And, oh well, back to the drawing board for Google, I guess. Just another failed experiment. Just the same bin where everyone threw their Google Glass. I guess that's where you throw your fucking, your Google Stadia controller. Because that's all it is, a controller. For they sell you the controller or whatever. Toss that right in the trash. Okay, then. By the way, I'm not saying that eventually this wouldn't work, but like I said, it's far too early. It's far too early, and it would take too much time to have the internet upgraded to the point where this would be supported, that this would be a viable product. You're talking another decade at least. So, once again, Google, biting off more than they can chew and trying to do something that they're just not equipped to handle. Sorry. It's just the truth.
The best way you can support me is by tipping me. Tipping is funds that I can get right away, funds that I can use to pay bills, to buy games, you know, especially come end of the year now, you know, and I'm sure everyone was expecting this end of the year push for taxes. This happens every year where I need to raise money for taxes near the end of the year. This is no exception. That'll be coming up. So any funds right now that you lend, not only are paying the bills, but also are going to allow me to afford my taxes at year end. So please consider tipping if at all you can today. That would help me out more than anything. We're afraid that in the back of our heads we just got taxes, taxes, taxes. Oh, Phil's a scammer, and Phil took the money that he said was for taxes and he did it to pay for a wedding. Yeah, we're not talking about it anymore, guys. The bottom line is, tax issue is my issue right now. I don't have a single dollar to put towards my federal taxes this year. Not a dollar. Every dollar that I'm bringing in now has to go towards all my other things. I'm not going to sit here and...
I guess it's a good thing he didn't pay his taxes that year, then, was it?
Every day start talking about taxes and shit. I'm just not. I want to be here and enjoy games and hang out with you guys and have fun. That's what this is about. It's not about my tax problems, even though they exist. You guys don't want to hear about that every freaking day, you know?
But you are expecting them to pay for it, though.
Even when near the end of the year, I need to do some kind of emergency style fundraisers if I have to or whatever, you know, we'll talk about that.
Alright, Mr. Papavera cheered 50 bits. He's mentioning a lot of new releases. When there is a game that comes out I'm excited for, I'll watch even if it takes a while to get to. Especially if it's someone I enjoy watching. There were titles where I've been watched Let's Plays from several people. In some cases, getting a new blind Let's Play after the hype died down can be refreshing. I agree. That's why I love the fact that not only is it live streaming with me, but I have all my stuff available on demand afterward. You know, you can watch at your own pace. Maybe some people right now are playing the new releases, right? They don't want to watch me play them now because they don't want to spoil for themselves. But once they finish the games, then they'll go back and they'll watch my playthrough on YouTube on demand afterward, okay?
That's funny because you said the same thing about God of War, and that's not what happened.
I will say this, alright? Thank you to those who do that. I appreciate that. But I should emphasize that
ad revenue on YouTube is abysmally low. It's funny because, like, I barely even see ads on YouTube anymore. It's rare when an ad even plays for someone like me because I'm not a big dog who gets all the advertisement space. So
that's funny because didn't you say that everybody gets ads and that's why it's kind of stupid to still be with an MCN? Which is ironic that you would say that after you got kicked off of an MCN, but now it's rare for you to even get an ad. But I thought detractors were out here making money off you, and you're bigger than them, and they get ads and they're making a living, but you don't get any ads, or you barely get any ads? How does that make sense? I'm so confused.
FYI, ad revenue is almost non-existent. If you are someone who exclusively watches my stuff on YouTube, please consider contributing via another method, whether it be pledging to my Patreon or sending a tip during the live stream, whatever it may be. Disgusting beggar. I e-beg, right? You're constantly asking your viewers and your fans for contribution. You know, oh, he's an e-beggar. In 2017, the bottom fell out on YouTube. They lost most of their major advertisers, and it became completely impossible for someone like me to still make a living doing YouTube full time. So I said,
now, see, that's not, even though Adpocalypse did happen, we'll never know exactly how hard that would have hit Phil if he didn't get himself kicked off Machinima. We'll never really know. We'll never know what kind of financial deficit that would have put him at, because he was dead set to get himself fired, which is exactly what happened. We know what happens when he went to Curse and how he said he was making better money with them, because I think Curse at that time had like a 90-10 split. But I would also say that because when he went to Curse, most of his stuff, his content, most of the playthroughs in his catalog end up getting muted or blocked. So he kind of got neutered in a lot of aspects. But I think a counter to that is he probably broke out even either which way. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, we'll never really know exactly how much of a hit he would have taken on Machinima, sadly, because he couldn't sit there and just be proactive and move the Twitch while still doing YouTube. He wanted that lazy, easy money that he'd been making for 6 or 7 years. He didn't want to give it up, and eventually he got let go.
Got to do something different and drastic. I changed myself. I evolved. I became a full-time beggar.
Only because, like I said, it's not like it used to be where I used to be able to make significant any income really on ad revenue. It's changed completely on YouTube because the whole business fell apart. And it's not like it used to be, oh, well, Phil's just making out on my view because of the ads. No, I'm not. I do need support in other methods, so please consider, if that's the deal and you are someone who just watches exclusively on YouTube, please consider contributing via another method, okay?
Cockroach! Cockroach! La cucaracha! La cucaracha! Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone. Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay.
You damn right. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and clean up real quick, and I'll see you guys in just a second. Oh, so good. And thank you to Snort Burnell, as always. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so where are we at with this? Excuse me. So, and let's see here. The Stadia, like I said, give it time. Eventually they'll figure it out. If Google don't, someone else will, and whatnot. It's what happens. But people have to push when you have a vision like that, you have to push it forward. Even, it doesn't matter how many people had it before you. And if they failed or if they gave up or whatever the case may be, it doesn't mean that it's not worth pushing the idea forward. Maybe Google gets it right, maybe they won't. Maybe someone else, maybe Samsung ends up like picking it up a couple years down the line or a decade down the line and gets it right. Who cares? You still need people to push it forward for it to move forward. Period. So why Phil, someone who's in business, doesn't understand that is insane. But maybe it's not if you look at him. Excuse me. So, next thing, the Video Game Awards, it's whatever. Make of that what you will. It's entertainment. Treat it as such. Make your own goddamn decision when it comes to the games that you play. As for the fundraising, I mean, I'm waiting to hear the new scam, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's going to be taxes, but he has to tax something else onto that. You know what I mean? Especially when that money doesn't rush in, because Ask the King, I assume that's going to be a bore fest unless he focuses on the detractors and haters. That Christmas marathon little event thing is probably going to flop just like it was going to flop last year if he was man enough to show up to the damn thing. So I don't expect too much out of that, per se, or at least if he had finished all of it in 2018. So I don't expect too much out of that, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we'll find out what the new crisis is going into 2020. That's pretty much all I'm expecting. Now, that doesn't mean I don't expect something interesting to happen, like another, not necessarily another story arc, but maybe some filler in the DsP anime / manga to rear its head up there. But that's all I'm looking for. I'm just looking for the next big excuse, because he needs one. He needs one. And more importantly than that, it needs to be good. It needs to be able to draw in the type of sympathy to make people feel bad about all the lying he did in 2019, which is all he did this year, is he lied a lot. And he lied to the people that he needed most, which of course he was going to. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll just wait and see how that plays out, but we'll be here to report on it either which way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on at GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, I am your host / anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. End the broadcast. Oh, man.